Polo Jacobs, representing EFF, Hlomela Butwa, representing DASO, and Luzuko Nchongwana, representing SASCO. This debate is an initiative of the Student Housing together with the Department of Student Governance. The format to be followed has been designed by myself and my colleague Brian Shumba, and the candidates have agreed to it. The debate is structured in such a way that each party will get 4 minutes to present their manifesto, to which each of the opposing parties will get to ask a question with regards to that particular manifesto to each other. Each candidate has approximately a minute to respond to each of these questions. Several students have been emailing me questions to be asked to candidates via email, and more questions can be asked via our live Twitter, which we have at the moment. For the record, all the questions that have been asked have been sent directly to me, and they have not been discussed with any of the candidates or anybody else. I hope to get to as many questions as possible, and to that regard, I've asked the candidates to keep the answers precise and to the points. The candidates will have 2 minutes of closing remarks. To begin with, Mr. Luzuko.
Sir.
You have the floor. You have 4 minutes to present your manifesto.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. My name is Luzuko Nchongwana, a master's student in public administration and the chairperson of SASCO at South Campus. Well, Chair, I think I must take this opportunity and firstly tell students of NMMU what is SASCO. SASCO is South African Student Congress, and it's an organization of students that was formed in Rhodes University in 1991. And we formed that particular organization because we wanted to champion the struggle of students in an organized manner. It is a product of NUSAS and SASCO. SASCO was an organization of black students, and NUSAS was an organization of white students. And these students decided that they should together form one organization because struggles of students are the same. If fees are going up, they are going up for everyone, for every student, regardless of the class. Now, SASCO said, well, they want to be rooted on principles of non-sexism, non-racialism, and democracy. That's what we stand for as an organization. Any organization that stands for democracy, we support it. At the level of NMMU, we've been championing the struggles of NSFAS, which is the very critical issue that students are facing. Remember that NSFAS was formed after SASCO engaged on the struggle for free education. In 2000, the resolution was taken that NSFAS must exist. Then NSFAS was established as a result of SASCO struggles. Now, some pessimists believe that probably we are not going to achieve free education. But already in the colleges, we have attained that. You know, there's some level of free education, even though it's not what we want, because we're saying education must be free in both monetary terms and in content. But I'll explain that later on. Now, what I want to say is that to students of NMMU, we have already started implementing our own manifesto this year, because we've done everything. As remember, we're in the SRC currently. We've done everything that we promised to students, from NSFAS to extension of registration more than 3 times this year, something that has never happened before. Also, next year, we are considering to fight for one student, one learners program, We know some people will say it's not our victory when it happens. We also want to fight for nursing students to have free transport for their practicals. The bicycles, one student, one bicycle program, the university must adopt that. Actually, the vice chancellor has already agreed with us that there should be bicycles in the university. Also, the question of decentralization of NSFAS, not entirely. We're saying administrative powers must be decentralized. We've already scored some victories there. There will be an office at North Campus that a person from Cape Town will be at North Campus permanently to make sure that students don't have to call NSFAS for whatever issues they want to do.
Unfortunately,
and there are many more
you've
issues
run out
that
of your time. I think I will have to stop you at that. Moving on, the next candidate, Ms. Hlomela Butwa, representing DASO.
Good afternoon, NMMU students. My name is Hlomela Butwa. I'm currently doing my third year in law. I'm representing the Democratic Alliance Student Organization. Our vision is of an open and free educational environment in which is uniquely South African, in which every person is free, secure, and equal, in which every person has the opportunity to improve the quality and the standards of their life. If I were to touch briefly on the history of the DASO, DASO was established in NMMU in 2009. It was to set that we need an alternative. Looking at the political parties in which we have in NMMU currently, they have failed to represent the needs of students, they have failed to attend to their issues, and as such, we need an organization that will speak and cater to your best interest, an organization that will cater to the needs of students, and that is why we're established. That is our primary mandate, to be of service to our students out there. Colleagues, for the first time, as it does, so we did something that no other organization has done, to saying what is it that students want to see in the institution? What is it that students want to see in their residences? We came up with a campaign to establish a manifesto, My Ideal Campus. What is it that I, as a Hlomela Butwa, want to see in my university? What is it that you, as a student, want to see in your university? This is not a manifesto of DASO. This is a manifesto of the students, what they want to see and what their needs are. When you're a child, you dream of becoming a doctor. When you're in high school, you dream of becoming, or rather entering university. But however, looking at the statistics in our country, only a few of us have that potential or even make it to becoming in these institutions of higher learning. Our first point of departure is that of academic excellence. Colleagues, we cannot dispute the fact that it is a privilege to be in institutions of higher learning, and as such we need to promote and enhance academic excellence in university. The first point in our manifesto speaks about extending library hours, a 24-hour library service. For the first time, it's been done in other universities, and we believe that is a project that is more than capable of being implemented in our university. The second one is to say that what are the challenges that students face when they're in this very institution? To say that if you have issues with whatever modules you have, and by the way, there's something called high-risk modules. These are modules that students fail the most and suffer from. We're saying as an organization, let us assist you by creating SI sessions for those very high-risk modules. So, and you can even have them in different languages. Obviously, this would be piloted to start with that of English, that of course, and that of Afrikaans. The second part is to say that I, as a student, come from a different background to the next person in my class. However, we all need to be placed on equal footing. We all need to establish and start on the same basis. As such, we came up with the tablet device project. The primary mandate of that was to enhance that of academic excellence. To say, I don't have a laptop, but someone else does. However, we're saying, here's a tablet. By the way, as a new venture is to say, let us add e-books to that. Now we move on to that of student housing. One cannot dispute some of the challenges we have. Residences. We don't have enough on-campus residents. Even the residents who have off-campus, they're not accredited, or rather in the grade or pass standards which we seek to have them be. Now, what we seek to do is to speak to management, enhance and increase the residences off-campus, so that ensure that students who even want to go study in this very library that we're bringing, they can have the potential to do so because you live closer to campus. Issues of housing, we've addressed that. Issues of shuttle. Some of the greatest challenges we have in the university, that there's not enough shuttle services in the university, and we seek to expand that shuttle service to even say, let it go to Zweden, let it go to Clare Park, let it go to Woma, because one cannot dispute that we have a number of students who are circulated around in the institution. Now, one is also to advocate for the installation of a variety of ATMs in the different campuses, advocate for a multi-purpose center, and this is some of the pointers which we have in manifesto, and obviously I'll go on to elaborate on it.
All right, thank you so much. Colleagues, we have We're having a discussion going on live on Twitter at the moment. Please use hashtag NMMU SRC debate to contribute to the conversation. Next on, we're going to Lutolo, representing EFF.
Thank you very much, Commissar Chair. It is an honor and privilege for the EFF, now that it is a new political organization within the institution, to be here in this debate. Now, to briefly outline the Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command, it is a radical and militant economic emancipation student movement, which seeks to bring, revolutionaries, activists, and all fellow students, to be, in actual fact, the vanguard of student struggles. Now, coming to the manifesto of the Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command this year, Chair, I think these fellows here must know that a manifesto is not something that you sit and assume on when you are sitting at the SRC offices. A manifesto is not something that you just wake up in the morning and decide, no, students want this, and that. A manifesto is a mandate that must be given to you by the students. So the Economic Freedom Fighters did not sit at those offices to draft up this manifesto. We went down to students. We went to all these different residences, in fact, to about 70% of them. We went to Dix, we went to King's residence, we went to Unitas, for instance, here on campus. We've been to Litaba, whereby students actually told us what is it that they want from us. So in actual fact, this manifesto, like I've said, is not something that we just, assumed on. So what we said in the manifesto, the mandate that was given us by students, is that, no, there should be free study material, whether you are NSFAS or not, but there should be free study material to promote academic excellence. And secondly, when we went to off-campus residences there, we've depicted that, or the students told us the fact that, no, the fees, the residential fees here, they increase each and every year. So we must try and set up a maximum amount that off-campus students will pay. Because you find out off-campus students are paying 2-point-something rands a month, whereas it's sharing. So as the Economic Freedom Fighters, in our manifesto, has been mandated by the students, we said that, no, students living off campus should pay a maximum amount of 2,000 rands a month. So coming to the next point regarding NSFAS, we are saying that students should apply only once for NSFAS, because it's not like whereby you apply this year and then the following year you become rich all of a sudden. No, it does not work that way. You must apply only once for NSFAS. And what the EFFSC will advocate or champion is that NSFAS must have some sort of a bus allowance, for students living in Komagagi, Silvertown, because we are also taking them into consideration. They are also students. So the next point is that it's regarding the SRC, because there have been a lot of blunder recently about the SRC and whatnot. So the Economic Freedom Fighters was mandated by the students to have some sort of a termly report when we are in the SRC next year, or that is, we put the financial statements and we portray them on the student portal so that students can actually reach them and be easy to scrutinize them. So this thing of NSFAS.
Need you to round up now.
Okay, no, it's fine. This thing of NSFAS is a very serious issue, because students outside are crying about NSFAS and so forth and so forth. It's a reality that most, in fact, if not thousands of first years, together with postgraduate students, were chased out by the university. So there's been that financial vacuum in the institution. That is where we come from as the Economic Freedom Fighters.
All right. Thank you for that. Then to the last candidate, Ndivunzani, representing PASMA.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Ndivunzani Manda. I am a third-year student studying internal auditing, Second Avenue. I am seated here to represent PASMA, which is the Pan-Africanist Student Movement of Azania. It is now a stakeholder at NMMU. It's recognized. Make I quote a quote from our leader, Professor Robert Mangalisa Sobukwe, who says, "Education to us means service to Africa." And in whatever branch of learning you are there for Africa. My fellow students, students of NMMU, the time has arrived for every registered NMMU student to make a mark, to make a momentous contribution to yourselves. PASMA stands to advocate for a lot of things, but first and foremost, as PASMA, we want to meet you on your personal capacity. What is it that you want to see? What is it that you want us to do for you? We have a panel of people. We have other organizations that are telling you that we brought about this, we did that. I mean, we are not talking about history. We are talking about what do you want to see happen now? What do you want to see happen now in 2014 and in 2015? Number one, NSFAS. We want to decentralize NSFAS. We want we don't want one representative to come and present to come and help about 21,000 to 27,000 students. We want a panel of people. We want people who can assist all the students who have NSFAS problems or who needs NSFAS. We want to reach at least 80% to 100% of deserving students who need NSFAS. Shuttles. We want shuttles that goes to the locations. We want you to, if you stay in Motherwell, we want you to be dropped in Motherwell. If you stay in Kwamataki, you stay wherever you want to stay or wherever you stay, we want you to be dropped there. Ladies and gentlemen, your ultimate goal of coming to university is that you get your qualification. And now we want to simplify it. Which is a high-risk module and which is not. If you fail any module, you repeat it and you have to pay for it. Ladies and my fellow students, what I tell you is that every module, unless it is an open book when you write examination, every module should have supplementary instructions or SI. The library at 2nd Avenue closes at 4 o'clock, while others close at 10. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow students, I tell you, there will be no closing hours for libraries. And then with these, students will be employed to work in the libraries to assist other students because they know what we need. Also, with the issue of shuttles, the lunch hour shuttle, we understand that it leaves every 30 minutes. Now, at lunch, we want to go places. We want to go inter-campus. So now we want that shuttle to be available at every given time. We don't want the 30 minutes at lunch. We want you to just go immediately and come back. We want you to run around at lunch hour. And also, the student and lecture relationship. We want the students to know that they've paid for the modules that they're doing. And also the lectures are paid for what they're doing. So if you're late with 5 minutes and you're told to go outside and then you're, we want that to stop. And also, when it comes to accommodation, now a student that stays in Oceana or at Zanatu or Melody, wherever you're staying, will be paying roughly about 1.7, 1.8. While a student who's staying maybe at South Point Laboratory or all these other buildings or other off-campus accommodations is paying about 2,300 to 2,500. We want to advocate for such, that you pay the same way. There is computers available for information and research. Also,
okay,
in closing...
Your time is up now,
okay.
Unfortunately. Your time is up. All right. So, as I have indicated earlier, now we've got to a stage where each of the three candidates will get to ask each other questions regarding their manifestos. So how it's going to work, they'll all ask questions at once, then the person who's responding will respond to all the three questions at once. So the first person to be asked questions is going to be Luzuko, representing SASCO, and Ms. Tomela, and then Mr. Lutolo, and then the last candidate will ask questions to Luzuko, and you will respond to all three questions at once. Then we'll go on in that order. All right. So, Ms. Butwa, if you may ask Mr. Njongwana.
No, certainly, sir. I'm extremely disappointed, I must say, sitting with an SRC president who has told us the history of the organization, but did not tell us what they have done this year, nor did he tell us what they intend on doing or promise to do for students in the incoming year. Now, reflecting on what has transpired in the past year, they've spoken about victories that they've had. I'll give an example of extending registration. By the way, registration was extended 4 times, but there was still no funding. So you're telling me you're keeping students on campus when you've not given them any hope, or their statuses are still pending? How is it that you call that a victory when you extended registration? People have incurred extra costs by staying in PE, and they still got rejected by NSFAS at the end of the day. The second part is out of graduation, which is not their initiative. All these victories that have been stated by the organization are issues, or rather projects, of management, KUHA, and the university itself. What we've only seen this year is mismanagement and misuse of students' funds. And you want to be able to account to us. How is it that you claim for us to give you a second term when we have given you 12 months in the SRC? By the way, in less than 6 months, you have failed our students and you've misused their funds. How can we then trust you, even your organization, because you're running for the second term, to be faithful and to serve our students to the best of their ability, to be an accountable SRC, to be transparent to our students?
Perfect. All right.
Oh, thank you very much. Before I asked Mr. Tavatswa, when you are in the SRC, you don't need to brag about certain things, because it's an obligation that you have been given.
We are going to be very strict on time. If you can just get to the point, to your question straight up.
Okay, no, it's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that being in the SRC, serving students is an obligation. You don't go around and make a lot of noise. So what I want to ask Mr. Njongwana here, he was the SRC president. In fact, he's the SRC president of this year. Like I've said, many of first years and postgraduate students were chased out by the university, and they students actually put their trust on him as the SRC president. Yet he came back as the SRC president and told students that no, the issue of NSFAS is above us all. Now what happens now when an SRC president also loses hope, whereas students themselves have put hope in the SRC president? So my question is to Njongwana is that what is it that he's going to do next year that will avoid this situation, as he has failed this year to avoid this situation of NSFAS?
All right.
My question would be that for me, as PASMA, is that whatever that has to happen, it has to happen for the benefit of the students. So now I will not want to give him a question instead, because I don't want him to be in power. I don't want SASCO to be in power next year. They've shown us a lot of hooliganism. They've misspent the student monies. They have been arrogant. They have been very mean. Students have been chased out of the university. They have been chased out of their accommodation, given the money to the SRC. And then that money has been misspent. The money that was supposed to benefit the student for the socio-economic benefits of the students has been misspent. So now I cannot ask him what he's going to do next year, because to be honest, I don't want him to be there. So then, Chair, I will not have a question for Mr.
Okay. You've been noted.
Yeah.
You've been noted. Mr. Njongwana.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's a lot of hatred here. There are no questions, but people are raising their own views about how the SRC has done things this year. Nonetheless, Chair, I think we should clarify some of the things here that they spoke about, of which most of them are actually lies. And I must express it categorically clear, so that I have never seen a student organization that lies the way DASO does. I'm very disappointed. Now, to the first issue.
Yes.
Look, here I said there are issues that we have already achieved, and there are some of the things that we're going to work on. I mentioned, as I was opening, that the question of NSFAS decentralization, I said administrative powers must be decentralized, because we discovered that the problem is administration. It's not the entire centralization system, because we're in office, we understand those things. Now we're saying there must be someone. Someone says here, we can't have one person saving 27,000 students. There are no 27,000 students that are using NSFAS. There's no way that one person will save 27,000 students. That is just fallacy. Probably it's just that PASMA did not have a question. I understand. They think postgrad student was sent home. We fought here, we were marching in the first semester for for BTech students. DASO went around saying students must not attend our march because they would be expelled by the university. We went to march of BTech students, and BTech students were funded. Secondly, DASO has been going around lying that there's not been an agreement from management on December graduation period this year, something that we fought very hard for. They sent these letters to students. They put them underneath their doors, saying there will be no graduation. Then the university later on sent...
I need you to answer to the questions
I'm
that have been
I'm
asked
answering
to you,
this
yes.
question because the reality of the matter is that she did not want to ask a question. She just wanted to express her views about the SRC. There is no question that is related to what I presented here from her. Coming to EFF. I don't know what you're talking about when you are saying postgraduate students were sent away. Because I'm saying to you, we attained that victory of BTech students. They were funded. I don't know what you're talking about. I never said to you, I don't know where we met and I said this thing to you, that NSFAS issues above all of us. I don't remember that. I don't know where we get it, or something that you slept and dreamt about. You know, what will you do differently? We obviously said, comrades, next year we will do. Actually, we're not going to do things that are new. Accommodation issues and matter that we've been fighting for. We were suspended in 2011 because we were fighting for more on-campus residences. We marched, and the university suspended us. And that suspension was suspended after the serious intervention by the Minister of Higher Education. And Nkandla residents that you see at the village is a result of that particular struggle that we fought. And the 1,000 beds that are going to be built on North Campus are the result of our struggles. Now all of a sudden you come here and say we've done nothing. You claim all the victory, but you came yesterday. You were nowhere when we were struggling for these things.
I need you to round up now on your responses. Are you done?
Chair, I'm rounding up on the issue of misspending. There is no, the university dismissed this thing of misspending. It dismissed it because the SRC does not have a direct access to the university funds. We have an administrator that is employed by the university to assist us with the funding. We present programs to the university, to the administrator of the university. We don't have a direct access to the money of the university. Therefore, we can't misspend funds. If you are saying SASCO is corrupt, then that means the management of the university is corrupt. Hence, when DASO went around to newspapers saying that we were corrupt, the university defended us to say there is nothing wrong that the SRC has done. And it is a lie. DASO went around embarrassing the entire university. They embarrassed the university last year when they collapsed the InterVarsity. Now they're embarrassing the university again on newspapers with lies. They're spreading lies on newspapers.
I think your point has been noted.
Who wants to be a product of a university that is corrupt?
Your point has been noted.
It is what DASO is doing is wrong.
All right.
They must not lie.
All right, colleagues, you have a chance to ask Ms. Butwa questions. And can you try and keep the questions in line with the manifesto as much as possible, because we really don't have much time to be blabbering around. Okay. I'll start with PASMA.
Ms. Butwa, you tell us that SASCO has done that, SASCO has done that. Like your manifesto is in line with what has not been done, or it's in line with you've picked up nearly everything that SASCO has not done right. Now, you have not told us what you are going to do for the students, and we have made it very clear that we want to advocate for the benefits of the student. So now you tell us, just briefly, what is it that you really want to do for the students? Because you never actually really mentioned it. You told us nothing. You told us that there was misappropriation of money. You made presentation or whatever you did, made presentations on. But what is it that you are going to do that is now any different?
Thank you. You know, Ms. Butwa here is the current PRO of the SRC, and there's nothing wrong with being ambitious. She wants to be president next year, but she's the PRO, and she has failed. Okay, it's fine.
Let's not.
It's fine. Coming to the question, you know, of Ms. Butwa, like I've said, they were once in leadership, they were once in power of the SRC, and they failed students. You see, this manifesto that we see today is the manifesto that we saw when Sibelekwani, the former SRC president, was in power, was in leadership, and they achieved absolutely nothing. So I want assurance, like, how are you going to go on about implementing these points that you put in your manifesto? That is my question.
All right.
Thank you, Chair. Well, my question to Ms. Butwa is as follows. Ms. Butwa, you talked about tablets again, of which is an issue that you raised some years ago when you were in power. And you actually lied about it to students that at the point of registration, they will get tablets, and students did not get those tablets. Now you are still talking about it again. And you went on, I'm relating this question to what you have been saying to students, that there will be no graduation in December, and that students who are owed by the university the due amounts will not get them, but the university issued an email to say, actually, these students will get their money back, and there will be graduation in December. And you lied about tablets. Now I want to know, my question is simple. It's not going to be a complicated question. Why do you lie? Why do you lie to students? What forces you to lie?
You know, colleagues, it's very important to not have leaders in positions of power that do not read. And one needs to be able to listen attentively when someone speaks. Now, I believe that the manifesto ones is clear, but let me attend to the lie briefly. In 2012, DASO had a manifesto point to say, our hope will want to advocate. By the way, one needs to understand what advocate means. It's to fight for or to pioneer the introduction of a tablet device to each and every student. This was presented to the institution. In principle, they agreed that this is a brilliant initiative, that it will indeed enhance the academic excellence of our students. Now, with any other business, one cannot invest on something that cannot be sure it will be to the benefit of the students firstly, and that it will work effectively and it will be functional. I'll give an example, case in point, NSFAS. The centralized system, it's not yet fully implemented, in case you did not know. There's a pilot project. It means this is a test run. We are firstly testing this, will it be effective and will it be beneficial to the students. After elections last year, 474 tablets were given out to students. By the way, the very person who's asking me this is the one person who received a tablet. You can go check the president's Facebook, you'll find him with a tablet. Students got tablets last year as a pilot device to say, let us test these devices. You can even go to the library now. You can get a tablet on loan. We did not lie. Students got tablets. Perhaps what you should have said is to say, in the initiative or after our consultation, we will not be granted the full implementation of the project. So R1 million was invested to pilot the project, and by the way, on the 22nd of September 2014, the final review stage will take place. We will sit in a meeting with management and they will tell us whether this has been effective. Therefore, DASO did not lie. The second part, graduation. Colleagues, if you read that statement, it says this is not an initiative of any political organization. It is an initiative of the institution, and we commend them for that. By the way, this was created by the registrar of the university. I sat in Manco with my very own president on the 7th of August, and Dr. Gulam told us we want to bring graduation to NMMU in December and in April because it is a great initiative. And I'll tell you now, he doesn't even know why the education faculty was chosen. That faculty was chosen because there are students there who are unable to fully get paid because they still don't have a graduation certificate yet. So we're not saying that graduation was not going to happen. We're saying graduation is not for SASCO to claim, it's not for DASO to claim, it's not for EFF or PASMA. It is the institution's initiative which will assist our students in bettering their lives. What is our manifesto? Colleagues, for the past 2 months we've been having My Ideal Campus, a manifesto that comes from our very own students, a manifesto that is a reflection of what they seek to achieve. Ours is simple: academic excellence. I spoke about extending the library hours, I spoke about the tablet device, I spoke about ebooks, I spoke about enhancing your life as a student, support services, increasing on-campus residences, heaters in the residences, cooking facilities in the residences, even for off-campus students. Now, mine is to say that when DASO was in governance, by the way, in 2011 there was an SRC of SASCO. There were only 2 shuttles to Missionville. DASO came into power in 2012. You now have shuttles that are functional. That is our milestone. Wi-Fi in residences, that is a milestone of DASO. These are some of the initiatives. The radio station, our sitting in the board meetings, that is a milestone of DASO. We deliver to our students, and we're saying that if you ought to vote for any organization, that must be DASO, because first and foremost, we will not spend your money. We will not misuse or benefit ourselves with student money. That is to be used to create a vibrant student life.
I need you to round up now. All right.
And rounding
Thank
up,
you.
I'm saying that, okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. All right. Okay. We're going to be asking questions to Lutolo now. The 3 candidates will be asking questions. And if I can, maybe let me give Ms. Potwai a chance to breathe. Luzuko, you can ask a question to EFF.
Oh, EFF. At least, at least you have not lied as yet. We don't know whether you're going to lie in the future.
Let's just get to the
Nonetheless,
question. Yes.
I know that you want the man, pay back the man. Comrades, I want to know, you are saying you are a radical student movement. Can you tell us what is radical about EFF? What is radical about you, and what is the difference between radicalism and chaos? Thank you.
All right.
I want to speak on EFF because they give us this illusion that they're here for the students. Now, I want to draw a case in point with their scenario when they were deprived recognition by the current SRC. DASO was denied to be recognized in university NMMU by SASCO for over a year and a half. But even though we're not in governance, we're of service to students. When we are in SRC, we help students. Even this year, when we had lost elections and we had SRC members, we were still assisting our students. Now, it was very interesting to read your manifesto, and I believe that it lacks the understanding of some of the critical issues that our students face. You speak about parties and beverages. We are not here to fight over Castle Lager and black labels. Perhaps that's something you and SASCO can do, and PASMA will join you later. But what we're saying is that we have critical issues that relate to students, that of NSFAS, that of funding. What is it that EFF has done in the past year, since I've been recognized, or even prior to recognition, to assist students? Because, by the way, we don't see any candidates, we don't believe that you're even capable or competent of actually being in the SRC and adequately being of service to students. Even SASCO has shown that whether you have, past experience or not, you can still fail students. So how can we trust you with our students' funds? How can we trust you with our students' lives?
PASMA.
My question is, EFF, you tell us that you are going to set a benchmark on the rentals per student per month who are staying at off-campus accommodations. You said that no student will be paying over 2,000 rand per month. So now I want to know, how are you going to go about with that as PASMA? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Commissar Chair. This thing of, let me just remind students that DASO went to Mhlanga Rocks in 2013, and SASCO will spend the money wherever and whatnot. And we'll make sure that they account next year for the money. They will pay back the money. Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, there's this thing here of management, and then there's the SRC, and then there's the students. students cannot complain directly to the management, you know. They'll have to go through the SRC. Now, if you have an SRC that is being commanded by the management, jump and it asks how high, then you have a problem. That SRC is dangerous, you know. Hence, we've been, you know, we applied to be a political organization, an official political organization here at NMMU during the first semester. And we were only accepted during second semester, you know. We were not given time for the elections and whatnot. But they knew very well that we are a force to be reckoned with. You know, when we are in the SRC, we approach things differently. Not that will cause chaos and burn the institution down or shut it down. No, there are other means to be radical. You know, you sit down with the management on the table, and then you discuss issues, you know, and then you see eye to eye. Not that the management comes into the discussion table with already, you know, persuasive statements and whatnot, and you take them. No, now that is radicalism. You must be radical when dealing with students. With Hlumela Butwa asking us about our manifesto and talking about these beverages and whatnot, I don't know whether she has a selective hearing, because I said that our manifesto was a mandate. Unlike DASO and SASCO, and I don't know whether PASMA is a manifesto or not. But what I'm saying is this now here. We were given a mandate. We're not sleeping. We went to all these different residences. Went to Missionville. We went to Kral. We're not going to students saying, no, join EFF, join EFF, join EFF. We're approaching students with a book. My fellow student, what is it that you want from the SRC that will be EFF-led? No, students said, no, I think it would be best if we could have maybe just a week before, you know, the exams, just a party, you know, to meditate and relax and what. It was a mandate. It's not something that I came up with. Students gave me that mandate. So, and I put it in my manifesto and said, no, okay, fine. I'll make sure that it happens because it's your mandate. So, and what we have done and whatnot, we have been in discussion with you see, we are not in the SRC, so we are not in power yet. But we've been in discussion with Blandon, we've been in discussion with the offices whereby if you are going to remark or review a script, the 280 rands fee you pay, we've been in those discussions, you know, trying to fight that fee. But as like I said, you do not have excessive power to know, to control and maneuver things.
Is there evidence to support what you're saying right now? If we ask you to give us evidence, can you be in a position to give us solid evidence to say this is what you've been doing?
The fighters have been went to that office. They actually approached that office, and then coming to Mr. Manda, talking about a benchmark for rent. You have to understand that, Mr. Manda, about here at NMMU we have these off-campus and residents, and they are accredited by NMMU. You know, they are accredited, they are there, and the NMMU accepts them. Now, but they have a tendency. Every time, you know, NSFAS, you know, increases, you know, the limit of residential fees, they also increase that. You know, they taking students for granted. You know, every time it increases, they increase those fees. So what we'll do is that we'll engage with the institution directly as to see how far we can get with these things. Because remember, those people serve the interest of the students, and interest of the students must never be compromised. Hence, we are saying that off-campus residences must pay a minimum or must pay a maximum amount of 2,000 rands. That is, we're not going to negotiate that.
All right, thank you. Colleagues, we are really running out of time. So can we quickly please ask that gentleman a couple of questions? Then I'll get to some of the questions that we're getting on Twitter and the questions that I received via email. So if I may start with Ms. Butler, the gentleman, PASMA.
Colleagues, for me to necessarily, or rather even pose a question to PASMA, you know, would be somewhat futile. I don't believe they've given us any content in this debate. There hasn't been any formulated structure to say this is what we're doing. I don't even understand the role, by the way, in institutions of higher learning. So that's also, perhaps they could identify to us what is it that they intend on doing. with our students. You speak about education. Even SASCO has been promising students free education. That has not happened. Now, how is it that you intend on ensuring that each and every student really gets that access to education? Because we've given you solutions as DASO, by the way, saying these are some of the avenues that one can use when it comes to access and ensuring that each and every student, each and every deserving student has the right and is indeed finding themselves in the institutions of higher learning. So perhaps you can try and elaborate or speak upon that.
All right, Elizabeth, PASMA for you.
Now, I think the only question that I should ask this comrade is whether leadership, have you led in any student organization before?
All right, the question has been noted. Then Lukolo.
Okay, no,
PASMA.
thank you. You see, we have all, I don't know, but Ms. Butwa has the manifesto here. Chongwana has a manifesto there, and PASMA apparently does not. It's a paragraph. I do not know whether it's my eyes or whatnot. So
No,
there's nothing much to ask, you know.
Yeah.
There's
So
not-
you have
because-
no questions to say.
Yeah, there's no. I
Okay,
won't
thank
ask the
you. You've been
paragraph.
noted. You've been
Okay.
noted. Two questions came your way, PASMA. Can you please address them?
I think the question, the no question is actually a question. Do we have a manifesto? And the answer is yes. I have a document here, of which he has one in front of him that I don't understand what is going on, because there's just some stuff going on there in that paper. But I have a 3-page manifesto here, of which we only had 4 minutes. I couldn't go through it all. Also, with DASO, your question is, what do we intend on doing? Because you know, we it's a lot. We want to reach for students. You know, your money has been spent recklessly, and there's so little to show, and so many people have been disappointed this year. They have been disappointed in years before. We only saw proper leadership in 2012 with Yusuf Kasim, who was better. In 2012, we saw nuisance. Now 2014 now 2013 we saw nuisance. In 2014 now it's even worse. What we intend on doing is that we want to uplift everything that has been done to a higher level. Number one, we want to make sure that shuttles are available for everyone. We don't want there to be segregation or separation. Why is there supposed to be taxis for students that are going to Central?
You have
and then
explained those points in your
Yes.
manifesto. I want you just to attend to the questions that have been asked to you,
okay, yes.
so that we can yes.
Okay, the other question is also that have I led anywhere? I mean, this is a question of experience, isn't it? I have led in a lot of places, and I could actually refer you to those places, and they will give you a background that I was a good leader. Unlike you, Mr. Nchongwane, you are a terrible leader. Thank you,
Let's,
Mr.
let's try and refrain from attacking personally each
Okay.
other. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
my apologies.
So what we are going to do now is I have quite a number of questions that I have been receiving via email, and questions that are coming through on Twitter. If I'm seeing correctly, we're actually trending on Twitter. That is a very good sign. Thanks, people, to everybody who is contributing to the discussion. Right. So the question that I have right at the moment, I'm going to direct it to DASO and SASCO respectively. The first question is about, well, there's been so much talk about mismanagement of funds. And I don't want to tap so much into that issue, because I understand the university is carrying an investigation at the moment. So I wouldn't want to preempt on that as much. But there is a question that I need to ask that has been coming up a lot, which has to do with the student parliament earlier this year. It is alleged, and from the statement that I saw, I got online, it is alleged that in excess of 200,000 rands was used for the student parliament, which is reflecting on the statement that we saw. The authenticity of the statement, I cannot say whether it's correct or not, but it is something that is there, and it is quite clear on the statement that the SRC spent more than 200,000 on the student parliament. Was that necessary, especially now that we're having such a big problem with these issues of students, NSFAS not paying up students not having food, and all those things? Was that wasteful use of money relevant? All right. The next question is going to be addressed to Butwa. I understand, Ms. Butwa, you held a press conference with your party a couple of weeks ago, in which you yourself and Yusuf, the national chairperson for youth, DA Youth, I understand. The question that has been coming is, firstly, isn't this too much of a coincidence that we're going into elections and then you are having a press conference? Secondly, this was an internal issue. Couldn't you have found other remedies or issues that you could have used, raised, like internal DC issues within the university, instead of you going and publicizing such an issue on national media? And also, what measures did you take to see how was this going to impact the university in the long run? So I'll ask Luzuko to respond first, then Flomela.
Thank you very much for the question. Chair, I think first and foremost, we need to understand that SRC of SASCO came into office and it had the money. And we have delivered everything that students asked us to do this year. And if anyone says there's something that we have not done, I want to hear that person say to me that you have not done this and you were supposed to do it.
The question
in
is
terms
the money.
of, yes, I'm going to the money issue.
Yes.
There is a budget
All right.
in the SRC, and you budget for everything, for the entire. How we use the budget of the SRC, as I said before, we submit programs to student governance. And student governance, if they feel that a particular program is incorrect or it's not supposed to be done, they tell us that no, this one cannot continue.
The issue
now to
is
the
not.
question of Parliament.
Let me just direct you a bit. The issue is not whether the student governance approved it or not. You, as the SRC, you took a decision to go and spend that amount of money at the boardwalk. And
not sure. I think we should correct
yes.
that statement. There was no decision of the SRC to go and spend money at boardwalk.
So who made the decision that you should have the student parliament held at boardwalk? Is the question that we need to ask.
Luckily so. At that particular time, we were still new in office.
Yes.
What we did, we took a resolution that Parliament should sit this year and conclude, because Parliament has not been concluding in the previous 2 years. Parliament should conclude. And we said to student governance, we would love to have Parliament outside the institution, but we did not specify where. Then student governance took that particular decision that Parliament should be held at boardwalk.
So are you on record saying that the student governance decided that the Parliament should be held at the boardwalk?
We had a budget that was less than 100,000 rands for Parliament as a SRC.
Right.
We had a budget that was less than 100,000. If student governance spent more than that, then that is not the business of the SRC. Because as Njongwana, I've never been corrupt.
But yes,
I've never been corrupt.
Okay.
There's no decision that I took that student parliament should go to boardwalk or something like that.
But then when you say that is not the business of the SRC, aren't you in your position as the SRC president supposed to say, we are not going to spend this amount of money because it is too much than we were expecting to spend? Why couldn't you pick a similar place, let's say Willows or any other resort that is close by but not as expensive as the boardwalk?
Tafatsa, you are speaking as if I said indeed 200 and something thousand was spent there.
No, I
according to what we have, less than 100,000. How they fundraised if it was more than that, because I've not seen this 200 and something thousand that you are talking about. According to the stats that the university in the previous semester released, that amount was less than 200,000, far less than 200,000.
Okay.
So I don't know these stats. As you were saying that you were not sure about the authenticity of what
of
you
the
got.
document. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm saying to you, we never planned. Otherwise, if we spend so much money in that parliament, we're not going to be able to deliver other programs of the SRC. as DASO has been going around lying to even the soccer players that we're not going to give them their prizes because we don't have budget. And we actually gave them 20,000 on Saturday because we still have a budget as the SRC. Our budget is not affected. As the SRC, we're going to deliver rage in this coming weekend. We're going to deliver Miss NMMU and other programs.
Okay.
We did everything that we're supposed to do this year. If there is anything that anyone can say we did not do as the SRC, the only problem that we admit is the fact that we don't wear suits every day like other people. That's the only problem. Otherwise, we deliver to students. They know very well that.
Thanks for clarifying on that issue, because it was quite a huge outcry with most of the students. Ms. Putman, why did you have to go to, firstly, hire, not hire per se, it's just a term that I got here, but why did you have to go and summon, if I can use that word, Yusuf, to come and assist you in addressing the issue that was regarded as an internal issue? Yes.
You know, Tafajo, I'm
Yes.
extremely disappointed.
Yes.
Perhaps even, devastated with the ignorance that has been portrayed by the SRC president. It's very, very devastating that you can sit here and blatantly lie to students to say you did not know that you spent 250,000 rand on a student parliament, that you did not know you spent over 1.6 on a Kurt Geiger, that you do not know you spent over 4,000 rands on briefcases that are owned by lawyers. Not even some of our lecturers have those briefcases. Now, I must address, and I want to address it accordingly, the issue of the financial statement of the SRC. Now, you ask us, why did we summon Yusuf? Why did we first start with the press relief? In January 2014, the SRC slept in Chabula Lodge for 21,000 rand. In January, we took the matter first to the Deputy Director of Student Governance, who said, how is it that an SRC can be allowed to go and sleep in a guest house? It's against policy, it's against our very own organization, it's against principle. That's simple. The second part, we were told these are petty issues, the SRC did not spend the money. That was in January. In April, by the way, I was on the SRC this year, and we did not sit in any meeting. They sat in a meeting and decided as an executive of Unchongwan that we will go to Boardwalk. One needs to understand that student governance, they are the overseers of the SRC. They are administrators, not the SRC. Luzuka is the president of the SRC. He accounts what happens to students' money. By the way, there's a treasurer who's supposed to know each and every detail of the financial statement. In April, we said, how can we go to Boardwalk and pay over 250,000 rand when there are students who went home in January because of funding? How, as a leader, ask yourself that, as a human being, to spend so much money on yourself when there's a student who went home because of funding? We question that. We even, by the way, wrote an article, wrote an email to the SRC. There was no response.
To get to the response to the question. Yes, we don't have time. I'm getting
to the response. By the way, quickly, let me move on to August. We sent an email to the treasurer of the SRC to say, can you please get the financial statement? The SRC constitution stipulates that as a treasurer, you're supposed to give us a statement at every standing meeting of the SRC. It's procedure. Every month, we're supposed to know what's happening. There was no response. We emailed student governance. There was no response. By the way, those are overseers on our behalf. We then proceeded to the deputy director. No response. We went to the dean of students. There was no response. Colleagues, you need to understand that this did not start yesterday. This was not an election tool. This was to say, even if DASO was stealing students' money, I would personally say, this is wrong. This is against morality. This is against our principles. It has nothing to do with whom is in governance. As an SRC, you're supposed to account to all students. And by the way, Njongwana still today has not responded. If we didn't know, he is being investigated now. In one article, he says that this statement, how can they get to this fabricated? Do you not know we're SRC members? Do you not understand how the processes work? In the second response, he says, we don't know who Esvin Ngalo is. Now, let me clarify the issue of Yusuf. By the way, if you didn't know, Yusuf is the DASO constituency chairperson. He is the founder and creator of DASO and is currently the chairperson of all DASO nationally. If we were to make a move, just like EFF said, you have a mandate from your own organization. SASCO has SASCO regional, they have SASCO national. You do not move as you please. You consult those who come prior to you. This was not an irrational statement. By the way, this was to show that we are transparent. We need students to hold SRC accountable. This is our money. My mother as well has paid 145 rand, which goes to the SRC budget. If I'm being paid, then let me so. But
Ms.
this was
Butwa.
not an irrational
Ms.
decision,
Butwa.
but it was so to assist.
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. I understand you want to contribute to the
Yeah, no,
matter. Yes.
I want to contribute to this.
All
We
right.
cannot just leave it hanging.
Yeah.
Yes, this thing of, there's this notion of cheap politics and politic rhetorics. Now, there are two situations here. If DASO truly had the interest of the students at heart, because they knew about these bogus financial statements, earlier on this year, they could have released them earlier on this year. However, let me finish. Let me finish.
All right, colleagues.
Let me finish.
Colleagues,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Proceed.
So they could have released these financial statements at the beginning of the year. But now, this cheap politicking, they want to use it now as a political tool to win the SRC elections. And, this thing is not, there are ghosts in this thing as well. Because, fine, Yusuf Kasim was our SRC president. We respect him for that. We embrace him. He did great things. But now we should leave students' issues to students. We do not want an SRC that is led from Cape Town. Students' issues must be solved and resolved by the students of NMMU. Because now, speaking, and I mentioned something of being a PRO this year. Ms. Bugwa next to me, and I respect her, she's a female, fine, but some things must be reasoned. She's a PRO of this year, and one of her duties is that as a PRO, you must promote the image of the SRC, local, national, and international. So with these statements, putting the institution, dragging the name of the institution down the mud is not promoting the image of the SRC, because once you how can I put this? Once you degrade the image of the institution, then you automatically degrade the name of the SRC and the institution at large. Coming to Luzuko, Jongwana, in fact, both of them, there are no sayings here. DASO went to Mhlanga Rocks with students' money in 2013, and I think it's important that I remind students about that. And they did not account for that money. This year, SASCO spent, I do not know, 300,000, 200,000, 100,000, some saying at 200, some saying 100, but they spent money in Boardwalk. This thing of DASO and SASCO compromising on student issues, we as EFF, we condemn it. And we believe that students need change. They need something different. SASCO has been in power,
Right,
DASO has been in power.
Yes.
So the only change that students need right now is the EFF student command, and we believe that we are the alternative that students has been itching for. There's not
Alright.
been much. Okay, no,
I
thank
need
you.
do you wish to contribute to the discussion at hand?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, as briefly as possible.
In Chongwana, the money that has been spent, it's just a question, maybe, did you go back to the students and maybe present to them the financials, or maybe a financial statement, income statement, and an income and expenditure statement to them, and say, okay, this is the money that we got for you, and then this is how much we spent, and this is how we spent it. Did you do that? Or don't you think the students deserve to know how their money was spent? And also to you, Ms. Butwa, I want to know that do you think it gives the university a good name when you run to national media and expose our SRC like that? The question that you raised, if I understood it very well, is that did you have to go that far? Couldn't you have solved this internally? Yes. And then now you're telling us that you went to someone who's not even a student at the NMMU, and that person helped you expose the university to. Was that fair? Couldn't it have been done another way?
All I wasn't expecting you to ask questions back, but since you have already, I think I'll just give colleagues 30 seconds for it just to be fair, because we need to move on. There are other issues that we need to get onto. I don't know if I can start with you, Ms. Buka, the questions that he asked. Is it fair?
Yeah,
Can you just
listen,
attend to that question?
Hence I said it's very dangerous to have leaders who don't read in positions of power. If you understood the processes of the institution and how things work, all those stages which I would have loved to get an equal opportunity to express are processes, internal remedies that have been put in place for us to be able to resolve any conflicts in which we've had. And we're saying to you, we have gone through all those avenues for the past 4 months and still had not found an adequate, justifiable reasoning for what had transpired with the SRC.
So you had to go to
Perhaps
national
one
media.
might say that, how do we then go to national media? Because this then puts the name of the institution at disregard. By the way, we said a SASCO-led SRC of our beloved institution has done this. The aim has never been to disregard a university. I'm a proud student of NMMU, and I would never want to taint the image of the university. But I do want to speak on one thing. You speak about the good name of the university. As a student leader, your primary mandate is to ensure that your students' interests are best served. Perhaps you will judge us for tainting the image of the university. But at the end of the day, we need to address, because we've been mandated by students to represent them.
Right,
I
Ms.
need to
Puto.
represent and speak
Ms.
on
Puto,
behalf of my students.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
Look, Chair, I don't know. I don't want to come here and shine, because to understand some people want to make their CVs through the SRC. This thing is serious to us.
Yeah.
Putwa here denies the fact that this statement says there has been no agreement from management on a December graduation period of this year. She denies that they said it, but it's here, they wrote it. Now, they talk about Ngalu as well. They used Ngalu, they say they don't know Ngalu. In their financial statement last year, it's here with me. They used SV Ngalu, it's here. This is how popularized.
This is a financial statement from 2013.
Yeah, from 2013. They've been spreading lies. On the question, sir, of accountability.
Income and expenditure statement. Did you release it to the students?
Look, you need to understand the processes of the SRC. I understand that you have not led, because you did not mention the organization that you led when I asked you. There are processes in the SRC. There is a first parliament where you sit and report. Remember, people have to eat in parliament because they stay the whole day. So there is no way you are not going to spend there. There is a policy summit. In the summit as well, people stay the whole day. You have to spend because they have to eat, they have to be transported. There is a second parliament. A second parliament, it's where the SRC will give out the financial statement to students. It's a platform for accountability. And there is also an HM. I understand you don't know these things because they did not sit in the previous years. That's how you account. If there is corruption in SASCO, SRC, if there is corruption, the university will have to punish us.
Okay,
we'll
so
be
then
punished for being corrupt if we're corrupt.
So
and we'll accept it.
When do you plan to let the students know how you spent their money?
In parliament, we will tell students.
Yeah, but then when is parliament? We need accountability.
All right.
We need the students to know how their money was spent.
Wait. And I think I need to just intervene here for Luzuko's what he was just saying. I understand that the financial statement is issued at 2 points, which is the AGM and the student parliament. That is when it is accessible to students. And if you want to access the financial statements, it is at any given time, any student can access it. But there is a procedure, a protocol that has to be followed, and each student has to do that. And if you need that information, the SRC, I'm sure, will gladly provide you with that information. Okay, all right, I'm going to move on to the next question now, and we are rounding up because we are really, really out of time. We know the issue of unemployment, and I think I'm going to start with EFF on this one. The issue of unemployment is a huge situation, not only nationally but internationally. Wherever you go, jobs are being cut and everything. And in your manifesto, all four of you, I didn't hear anybody who was speaking about promoting entrepreneurship among students. Have we ever thought about that? And if you have, to what extent, what measures do you think you're going to bring that are going to assist entrepreneurship and promote students starting their own initiatives and getting into the business world?
Okay.
So yeah, you have 45 seconds.
Okay, no, as the economic freedom fighter student, we're saying that no, we're going to focus, on a curriculum reform, as looking at the current academic programs, ranging from your national high certificates, your diplomas, your BComs, your honors and masters. They are a very huge investment. However, these programs are designed in a manner that they train an individual to become an employee, and we don't want that. And that is now your highest occupation, being a manager and so forth and everything. So we as the economic freedom fighters, we're saying that we need to condition our education system, to an extent when a student enrolls to a university, he can be educated, to run his own law firm, to run his own factory, to have all these things. We want to promote this thing of entrepreneurship through curriculum reform. So we are agitating for curriculum reform within the institution.
We heard you. All right. PASMA, can you respond to that question?
Entrepreneurship, for me, it is not just when the students leave university and go on with their lives. Entrepreneurship starts here for the students. It starts here at university. And as PASMA, we believe that anything that is going, any procurement, whatever that is happening in the university, let's say maybe there's tenders for cleaning services, there's opportunities for maybe nature or whatever thing that has to be done. We believe that students or students that are registered with the institution should be given first preference to those things. And then, because like now, it's as if we are learning to become better employees at the universities. It's as if we are getting into class for them to teach us how to wake up every day at 6 o'clock and report to someone. But then that is not exactly how it will be. If for us to benefit the economy or benefit our country, is if the university allows us that should the opportunity be there, let us be given first preference. For an example, let's suppose you have I need to get this point across. Suppose that you have you want entertainment at the university. Let it not be a person from outside who comes and offers that such entertainment. Why don't you allow students themselves to bring a pool table, present a business plan, how they intend to go about with it, and then put a pool table there, and then they report to you how they're going about, how business is going. Give the opportunities first to students, and then let the others follow.
All right.
You see?
Ms.
Yes.
Poto.
I think it's important to know that as an organization, we don't only advocate for that of academic excellence, but for the entire enrichment of the whole individual, which speaks to your intellectual capacity, your personal, your cultural, and your physical. And that, colleagues have spoken broadly on that of the actual classroom. But guys, it goes beyond what you do and what you learn in class. I give an example, case in point, as both of us are law students. When we leave in the institution, what then distinguishes you and me? We both have LLB degrees. That then speaks to that of learning outside, beyond the classroom. That of you being involved in extracurricular activities that teach you soft skills, that will enhance how you think, great initiatives. Give an example of ISEC. ISEC Society on campus has something called a student apprentice. That is a competition that then sees different students from different faculties coming together to say, let's create business ideas, let's have innovations, let's see how can we make and grow our economy in a better stance. And after that entire project, a student then is allowed to get an internship in a certain post. So it goes outside the classroom. Once we've learned what is it that enhances us and gives us ability to think beyond the classroom, to become great individuals, and enhances us how we grow as an individual, holistically, obviously.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Tafaso. Tafaso, I think there's something that is has been said here that is going to damage us somehow.
Right.
Look, there is no investigation that is being done to me. must clarify that issue.
Okay.
It's a lie. There's no such a thing.
All right.
On the question of entrepreneurship and unemployment, to be honest, we have not done much as student leaders. We still need to focus on that. I remember the reason, as SASCO said, let us advocate for this thing of free driver's license. We wanted to address that particular question because we're realizing that senior students actually don't get employment because license is the requirement in many jobs.
Yes.
So I'm saying really we have not done much. We would love to be assisted in terms of dealing with the matter. You know, if students have got ideas, they can really tell us how to approach it. It was a difficult matter. Remember, it's a national issue.
Right.
So I think we really would love to listen to ideas from students.
All right. Colleagues, I think now we should round up. We have almost come to the end of the debate. So I'm going to, starting from my far left, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Why should we vote you?
Okay.
Yes. Maybe if you can just tell us your name, the organization you're representing in conclusion. Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Mandande Budzanye, and I truly believe in PASMA, Pan-Africanist Student Movement of Azania. What we are going to do for you is that we are going to make sure that you are not chased out of your residences, you are not denied registration because you don't have money. We are going to make sure that you have SIs, you have reliable lectures, you have people that are informed helping you. We are going to make sure that you've got your NSFAS when you really deserve it. We are going to make sure that you've got enough shuttles, you've got shuttles to the locations, you've got shuttles to go everywhere that you want to go. We are going to make sure that the library operates at all hours, 24/7. We are going to make sure that you as a person, whatever challenge that you face, you have an accessible place that you can go to. In fact, there is not going to be any drop box for complaints and all these things. We are going to kick it away. As PASMA, we are saying that we are going to have a centralized place where you can just go and inform the SRC of any challenge that you're facing, and we will make sure that we have addressed and we have attended to it.
Okay.
Is that all?
Your time is up, unfortunately. Whether that's
fine.
all or not, I'm not sure. You have to know.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Commissar Chair. My name is Lukolo Jacobs from the Economic Freedom Fighters. Now, just to briefly outline the Economic Freedom Fighters, like I've said, it's an anti-financial exclusion organization and anti-academic exclusion organization. The EFF brings about a progressive agenda into the institution, an agenda that seeks to squash this notion whereby it is echoed by the current political associations. You know, the notion that financially excludes students and academically excludes students. So that is what we'll champion and advocate for, an anti-financial exclusion and anti-academic exclusion organization. To voting for the EFF next year, the EFF Student Command will make sure that all NSFAS students get all the necessary machinery and, you know, books and everything when the lectures starts.
Your time
So
is up. 60 seconds is up.
60 seconds,
Yes.
but you're not consistent.
Your 60 seconds is up. Your 60 seconds
You're
is
not
up.
consistent.
All right. Miss
60 seconds
Buta,
is too little.
your 60 seconds starts
For
now.
this.
My name is Hlomela Potwa, coming from the Democratic Alliance Student Organizations. Colleagues, I want you to understand that we're not here to criticize SASCO, but we want you to understand when you have an SRC that is looking out for itself and for students, the results are different. It's been evident in how we've governed in 2012 and 2013. You've seen the difference in the SRC of 2014. We're told about Mhlanga Rocks to this day. There's not been any evidence or proof, even in the financial statement, to say DASO spent money on Mhlanga Rocks. However, I'm saying to you, when you vote for us, do not vote for an organization solely based on political stance. You vote for an organization that is there to represent and speak to the needs of the students. It's evident in how we've conducted ourselves. It's evident in our leadership and the landmarks and the traits which we've left in governance. We not only speak to the student as an individual, but we speak to you to attend to your issues holistically. How are we ensuring that once you've gotten access to university, you're a successful student, that you graduate in record time? How do we enhance your academic excellence? Matters and points that have been addressed in our manifesto. When you vote for DASO, it's not a vote, Lord. You vote
Your
for
time is
DASO.
up.
Sure.
All right.
Consistency, Chair, consistency.
Listen to more.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
My name is Luzu Konchongwana from SASCO. Students go and vote for SASCO, Makabane. You know very well what we've done. You know very well that we are ground soldiers. We are not cookie politicians. We don't come to you and speak English with no content. We come to you and tell you what we are going to do, and what we have done you have seen already. So comrades, go there and vote for SASCO, the only organization that has got experience when it comes to student issues. Go and vote for us, Makabane. Masiyithathe le second term, siyithathe comrade ngento engapha kwe-2/3 majority. Ndiyanazi ke ba united will make SASCO lead, and SASCO comrade, you know very well that it has championed many issues,
Thank you.
including that of
Yes, your
fetish.
issues have been
Yes,
championed. Alright.
a matter of, but
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yamandla.
NMMU, thank you so much for tuning in to this debate, and thank you for all the people that have been conversing on Twitter. Let's keep the conversation going, keep talking, keep tweeting, and I'm sure all these guys there will respond to your tweets if you want to know more about their parties and their mission. Voting is on Wednesday. Please make sure you take a friend and a friend and a friend of a friend to go and vote. We need more people to vote, and I hope you will go out in numbers. From the NMMU South Campus Studios, we thank you for tuning in. Have a good afternoon.